Now, turning to our program, please welcome Meg McKenna, Senior Relations Director at C.G. Schmidt, to introduce today's speaker.
Thank you, President Leslie. Good afternoon, Rotarians. In this college graduation season, those of us with children or grandchildren worrying about what the heck they're going to do with a political science degree, it's my honor to introduce today's speaker, Sarah Smith Pancheri, a University of Wisconsin-Madison graduate of political science and now Milwaukee's new president and chief executive officer of Milwaukee World Festival, Inc., known affectionately by us to produce Summerfest, dozens of additional festivals and events, as well as stewarding the development of 75 acres of Henry Maier Festival Park. I think we all agree that Milwaukee World Festival Inc.'s work really gives us a high quality of life here in Milwaukee. Sarah is what is called a boomerang at Milwaukee World Festival Inc., starting her early career there, then building her skills and connections in increasingly management level roles at Marquette University and the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Milwaukee. When she rejoined Milwaukee World Festival team in 2015 as Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Sarah played a central role in their strategic planning, budgeting, programming, and operations. She was promoted to Chief Operating Officer, then President, and on January 1, 2024, she assumed the role of Chief Executive Officer. Sarah was named a 2018 Woman of Influence by the Milwaukee Business Journal and is also involved with several civic endeavors, including the Sharon Lynn Wilson Center for the Arts. She furthers her contributions to Wisconsin's economy as a member of the Marketing Committee of Travel Wisconsin at the Wisconsin Department of Tourism and is the current chair of Visit Milwaukee's Board of Directors. The 2023 event season delivered big results for Milwaukee World Festival, including a great lineup of music events and concerts and 6 cultural festivals. In total, Henry Maier Festival Park recorded over 60 events and over 1.2 million attendees, while Summerfest hosted over 600 artists across a variety of genres with a 40% year-over-year increase in attendance, as well as record sponsorship results. Today, she'll share with us how Summerfest and Henry Maier Festival Park contributes millions of dollars to the region's economies while remaining dedicated to its nonprofit mission to provide the cultural and entertainment impact that has earned Milwaukee the title, the City of Festivals. Please join me in giving a warm Rotary welcome to Sarah Smith Pancheri.
Hello, Rotary. I don't know that you know it, but the word warm has been used probably 4 or 5 times this afternoon, and it is absolutely true. You really have something special here, and I hope that you know how warm this room is. And that's not just because I'm talking about Summerfest, because obviously we're looking for warm, sunny days. So a few housekeeping items before I get started. Erin, you have every bit of permission to, if I go like this or go like that, try to be an artist, please let me know. And as well as we left some things for you. How many people in this room have been to Summerfest? Okay, that's incredible. You're all part of our family. But you have no excuse to come again because you have 2 tickets sitting on your chair, as well as our hot off the presses lineup, which is really, yes, everyone is allowed to read the lineup as well as look at your phones to download our 2024 app. So please take a look as I speak. But I really want to talk about 3 M's today. Moments, which is what we specialize in at Summerfest and at Henry Maier Festival Park. Milwaukee, and how this community has, and all of you have uniquely cultivated the city of festivals. And then finally, momentum, which is really what Meg talked about and what we continue to see happening at Henry Maier Festival Park. So with that, let's talk about moments. And I'm going to go all the way back. So there's my 3 M's. That's me. That's a full amphitheater, which is there's nothing in the world like it. moments. When we celebrated the 50th edition of the festival, I was fortunate enough to gain access to many, many images. Someone brought me a chair that hadn't been burned that day. Like a folding chair showed up in my office, and I said, "What is this?" And I said, "Well, rather than throwing it on the pile, I grabbed the chair and left." And I was like, "Okay, well, there we go. We've got a chair from that infamous day." But we also we gained access to all this footage, and so our friends at WTMJ provided me this, which I think you'll all appreciate.
The board unanimously said Summerfest 68.
And did they give some reasons why they selected this particular name?
Well, they did, and they're very good. For instance, if a group were coming from Chicago, they would say, let's go to Milwaukee to Summerfest, and this is one word.
Nothing feels like 1968 like that, right? I mean, did anyone notice hijinks? Are you kidding me? Can you imagine if we were called hijinks? But really, when you think about how the leadership of this city came together and determined that really what the festival wants to do is highlight all the great things that happened in Milwaukee. And at the time, that was brewing culture. We had, of course, the huge breweries, and as well as all the exciting performing arts that we know we still celebrate today. But really, this gives us a sense of those moments that helped create who we are. And then we think about, okay, you get into the moments like this. Little Richard in 1971. I mean, what I would not have done to see Little Richard standing on a piano at the old stages, living in his full glory. And sometimes I think about the moments that we didn't capture, but that one is one of my favorites. Of course, the famous George Carlin. Was anyone there? You were. Let's talk afterwards. I'd love to get the blow by blow. But in 1972, the 5 words you can't say on television, right? So those were very, very special moments that we collectively have created as a community. Dolly in 1987. What's special about this for me personally is that I was able to attend the new Marcus Amphitheater at the time, and what really got a taste for how much I loved this business, and would eventually become an usher in high school at the amphitheater, where I worked as an employee wearing a very, very blue polyester uniform. We also specialize, and we do our best to create collaborations that wouldn't necessarily be seen on other stages. And just 2 years ago, you saw that with Sheryl Crow and James Taylor at the amphitheater during Summerfest 2022. In this case, 2006, Tom Petty and Eddie Vedder. So, I mean, Tom Petty, as many of you probably enjoyed his performances, was really, really a special performer at Summerfest. We all saw him many times. If you were fortunate enough to see his last show, it was absolutely terrific. But we found that there's other performers that would take a different slot and perform before him so that they could eventually spend time with him. We also saw something similar with Chris Stapleton. So then we go into Taylor Swift, right? So Taylor Swift opened at the amphitheater for Julie. I think it was Kenny Chesney, right? Maybe? Okay, we'll look that up afterwards. But to think that the world's largest pop star started at the amphitheater and among her early shows really was, you could say that you saw her when. And it's a really special building. Having an urban amphitheater sitting just steps from downtown. And we recently put over $51 million into that building. 51, not 151. Only Marty's allowed to say $459 million with the new Barrett Center. We put $51 million into the American Family Insurance Amphitheater, and it really shows. But Taylor was someone we were thrilled to have, and of course Paul McCartney. The way that we were able to secure Paul McCartney was due to Prince. So Prince also had a long history playing the amphitheater. and he was talking to the production companies. It's a very small world, and so they were talking about how great the building was to play, and the Rolling Stones heard. So in 2015, we hosted the Rolling Stones. They connected with Paul McCartney's people, and when you think about an artist who plays stadiums going down to play 23,000 seats, it's a very intimate experience. So we were thrilled to have Paul McCartney play in 2016. And just because we always want to show our respect to the Queen Bee, Beyonce also did play our building with Destiny's Child. So this is all to say, and what I find in talking about Summerfest, especially people that are local, and all of you that raised your hands, you typically have memories of seeing your favorite artist or seeing an artist that you really loved for reasons that you have, and so it's that faraway Summerfest look that we love to inspire and create those moments at the festival park. More recently, we've made $160 million in upgrades over the past 20 years at Henry Maier Festival Park, which is really, really a special level of investment for this community and our corporate sponsors in Milwaukee World Festival to have this gem at the lakefront. And we'll talk about the ethnic and cultural festivals in a minute, but really the transformation of this parcel and the 75 acres that sits on Lake Michigan is very, very special. So I wanted to share a recent view of the park with this video. So hopefully that looks and feels familiar. It really is a radical change over time. When I meet folks that say, I haven't been to Summerfest in a long time, my first question is, why? And secondly, come on back, because you won't recognize the beauty to which that park has been elevated. So please come on back and visit. So those are the moments that we create. And those are the special moments that we inspire every year, and hopefully you'll have a chance to come back and use those tickets. Moving on to Milwaukee, and this is really, really important because I believe wholly that this community has cultivated what we know as the City of Festivals. It's hours and hours and hours of volunteer work. It's first jobs. It's a vendor who comes back year after year from parts unknown throughout the country, and people that are able to really create something special that then becomes what we know as the City of Festivals in Milwaukee. So when I think about that, our corporate structure at MWF, we're a nonprofit organization. And as part of our charge, we not only provide a showcase for the performing arts, but we also provide significant opportunities to demonstrate cultural and ethnic heritage, as well as recreation for the public, jobs, and economic impact. And so as we think about how we do that every year, the fact that you can enter the festival park for $28 during Summerfest and see the host of bands that are in your brochure is really, really remarkable. And we do that through sponsorship. We've had sponsors, as I think that someone from Miller Brewing Company was in that room that we saw, right? So we've had Miller as a sponsor for almost 60 years. We've had partners like American Family that have stepped up and made significant changes to the park, and that goes all the way down. 90% of our corporate sponsors also give back to the community in some way. So when you think about the sponsorship world and the festival world, it is so rare and frankly so Milwaukee that we have these sponsors that say, I'm going to provide the Summerfest experience for the patrons of the festival and the community. But I'm going to go beyond that, and we're also going to do some great work in the community as part of that effort. And so for us, it's how do we get really, really creative and use the festival park in order to satisfy that mission and help not only our sponsors realize what they want to do with us, but also benefit the community. Two examples here for us, having a marketplace and having things to do at the festival continues to be an important part of our mix. And so Ashley here has been a vendor the past few years. BMO Harris Bank developed a program, and it was began at Summerfest and is now in other places in the country, where the BMO Empower Grant Program allows vendors who represent communities that have typically been underserved to come to the festival, form a collaborative effort that supports one another in our shop local marketplace, and then really support their business through becoming a vendor at the festival. So for us, Ashley's a great success story, someone that we've loved to support. She became a vendor through BMO Empower and now is back for her 4th year in 2024. So again, how creatively not only just support putting artists on stages, but how do we continue to develop new and really homegrown businesses? These are all things that we're taking up as a team, and that team is a group that is so committed to this mission. Another great example is our Generac Power Up with Purpose. So if you've been lucky enough to come to a concert and sit or stand, never stand in a pit. It's like a word of the wise. Never sit in a pit. Always stand in the pit. If you've come to the new Generac stage, there is an area that is between the stage and the bleachers, and we call that the pit, fairly familiar term. Generac said, you know what, we want to make sure that we're able to do even more with this access. So last year, Power with a Purpose, they sold their pit wristbands to the music fans that were interested in seeing the headlining performance that night. They raised over $50,000 doing that. And then we're able to give the Red Cross that money, which then they bought, that was helpful in purchasing that truck. So when you think about all the collective, so we've got sponsors that do that across the board. As you likely know, Next Door Foundation is a longtime partner of Northwestern Mutual. We have a book collection depot in our children's area, in our Northwestern Mutual Community Park, that continues to give books all year. If I'm a mom and of a young child, and the book collection gets a little overwhelming sometimes, you're able to come and easily deposit those books, and so they're able to be given to kids throughout our community. These are just examples of ways that we continue to think about how we contribute to the larger Milwaukee community. And again, I think with my soul that this is who we are as a community. And I was raised here to know that you don't just do a little good, you do a lot of good whenever you possibly can. And so that's the North Star that we use when we try to come up with these programs. In addition, 17% of our fans last year walked in the festival park either via a free admission promotion where they were donating an item, donating food, donating a book, donating hygiene supplies in order to come to the festival. And our business, that's unheard of. Like, it is just unheard of that you walk up with 2 cans of corn and go get to see REO Speedwagon. I mean, what is that, right? I mean, we again, and I will contest that it's absolutely a Milwaukee tradition and something that we should all be so proud of, and something that, as you think about Summerfest, it really, really makes it distinctive. And the list goes on and on. For 2024, you'll see in your brochure, there's 14 ways to get in free. And again, we're just so proud of that, and we couldn't make it happen without our sponsors. Okay, I lost my clicker, sorry. You can tell I get really excited and I lose clickers and use hands, so I might get, okay, American Family, Let the Music Play grants. So as part of our relationship with American Family, again, being really intentional about how we don't just use Summerfest to create an incredible experience for our fans, how do we give back? The Let the Music Play program is a grant program that exists outside of the festival window, but helps nonprofit organizations, specifically those in Milwaukee County that serve children, in order to promote, and this is everything from sheet music to culturally important instruments to, this is Bembe. Has anyone heard of Bembe Drum and Dance? It's really a fantastic program that was formed in 2015 and has continued to grow with its Afro-Latino merger and cultural significance from drumming and dancing and all sorts of great things. But this is imagine being, 7 years old and walking into Summerfest and seeing these enormous stages and thinking about how you want to be a performer. Well, American Family has our biggest stage on the grounds, but they also construct a house. They actually build a house. It's kind of a feat. It's pretty cool to watch. They build a house, and that house has the smallest stage on the grounds. And so in this case, we brought the Bembe students to perform. And so it's that exposure at all levels and how we're able to really extend the definition of a performance from Paul McCartney and Beyonce to the young student who just learned how to drum and who's able to enjoy a little bit of stage time in front of their friends and family. So we take this responsibility really seriously, and I'm proud to say that we've supported over 48 programs to let the music play with over $135,000 in grants. So these are things that we're doing in order to directly contribute to the overall arts economy in Milwaukee. And finally, our ethnic festivals. I have to ask, in case there's anyone in the room, is anyone a member of an ethnic festival group or that works closely with us? It's kind of amazing because typically wherever I go, there's someone that shoots up a hand and says, my aunt made me. Like it always starts with they made me, right? But it's generational and such an important part of, you're talking to people that are 40 and 50 years old that have worked at an ethnic festival because it's so important to their family and their cultural community that really the ethnic and cultural festivals are so important to what we consider a Milwaukee experience. And I implore you, I truly implore you to support the ethnic festivals. We everything from Festa Italiana coming back to the Summerfest grounds, the Henry Maier Festival Park grounds this year, to Black Arts MKE, to Mexican Fiesta. Mexican Fiesta is one of the most, look at the cultural dress. It is absolutely phenomenal. And that festival is working to support Hispanic student scholarships. So when you give to an ethnic festival and support them, you're not only celebrating their culture, but you're also really giving back to that community. And I think that, like anything, when something becomes something that you're just used to seeing, you don't necessarily say, oh, well, yeah, there's a festival going on this weekend. Calm down, enjoy the park and enjoy the festival. I guarantee you, especially if you have children or anyone in your life that enjoys cultural arts, you will not regret it. One of my, so I go to every, I try, I have to be careful saying every, I've learned that in the past couple months. I love to go to opening ceremonies. Each festival has an opening ceremonies, and it's everything from listening to the gentleman who got up at a Pride Fest anniversary and talked about how the fact that Milwaukee's Pride community used to be at Veterans Park and came down to Henry Maier Festival Park and was able to be celebrated among all of the different ethnic festivals and how Pride was welcomed in. If you think about the significance of that as a unique Milwaukee moment, I don't know what gets, it's really, really special. And then go all the way to, typically it tends to be high school boys with their grandmothers walking them around festivals in the cultural dress. It's just such a special and, again, uniquely Milwaukee thing. So we really need to support our cultural festivals. Okay, so let's talk about momentum. I love momentum. I love forward. And I think we've all got a really, really bright future in this community. So let's talk momentum. So you may not know this, but Milwaukee World Festival hires 2,300 people a year. So when you think about, as someone who had one of their first jobs at the festival park, all the way to someone who is retired from a career and wants a little something to do on the weekends or throughout the summer. 2,300 people is an incredible amount of people to hire, and we're so grateful that so many of those people are directly from our community. 79% are from the county, 66% are from the city, and almost 30% are from special impact zip codes as designated by the city of Milwaukee. So we're incredibly proud of this. This is how we live our mission. Every year, we have job fairs where the entire full-time staff works to support that experience. It's fun to, again, reflecting on my own experience, to watch young people walk in and they're very nervous and they're very unsure of what's going to happen, and it's such a big place and they're never going the right door, and it's they don't know where their uniform is, they don't know where to get their ID, it just happened to me. So we hosted Willie Nelson on Saturday, and I saw this woman, and it was not going well. She was really just confused and didn't quite know where to go. And when you saw her, when she got in the right place, and then she was able to work the cash register, and then she was a bartender. And then I checked in on her at the end of the night, and she had a smile, and you could just tell the pride that she felt figuring it out, right? So we have a lot of people who are able to figure it out with us, and we're very grateful. There's also people that come from across the country to make it happen. So we're a big family. Come the opening day of Summerfest, and we're dependent on people that really come in and make it happen. So we continue to see that grow. So with regard to momentum, we're continuing to see employment bounce back. You're looking at a bartender from Summerfest 2021 because it was an all call because staffing was so short. So we're thrilled to see momentum back, and we're about 78% hired for 2024. So if you know anyone that's interested in working with us, please let us know soon. But that momentum and watching, if you're running a business, you can appreciate how gratifying it is to see people coming in and working and really making sure that we're fully staffed, because we know the environment that we operate in, being fully staffed is a critical business objective. Okay, so let's talk about economic impact. As Meg shared, last year we had a really successful year, and we were really proud to share some of these numbers. First, as a whole, and this is the park. So this is all the events that take place starting in May and going through October. $263 million in economic impact. That's $1 billion every 4 years that parcel is generating with the events that take place there. It's an incredible amount of impact, and we're so proud of it. We work really hard to make sure that we are consistently talking about it, because it is, and we'll get to what do you do all year, because that's one of my favorite questions. But in order to have that kind of impact, it takes a very coordinated effort. So in direct spending, that's $182 million. It's a total of 4,300 jobs. So we're 23, but when you think about all the vendors that come and work with us, all the different suppliers that work with us to make it all happen, and again, this is the whole park. And then finally, almost $20 million in tax. So we're exceptionally fortunate to do the work, but also the work has real meaning in our community. So this is the what do you do all summer, or what do you do all year? Summerfest is absolutely the North Star and what the park is known for. But as we think about the broader impact of what happens, and I apologize, this is where you're allowed to use your phone. Go to mwf.com, MilwaukeeWorldFestival.com, and see all the things that take place as part of a Milwaukee summer at the lakefront. And that's everything from, we kicked off with Willie Nelson. We actually kicked off with the MS Walk on May 5th, and we'll go all the way to October with the Lakefront Marathon, as well as hopefully shows to be announced as part of our summer concert series. So really, there's an infinite amount of possibility to what can happen at the lakefront, and we're so proud to continue to see this grow year over year. How many people have been to the Northwestern Mutual Community Park? That's incredible to see. We are so proud of this park. It is over an acre of almost fully accessible children's play equipment. And it's so important because it is really great to watch kids at multiple abilities, at multiple ages, play together in a space that is completely designed for them. I mean, it was actually everything from the rainbow. Some people call it the Rainbow Park. The rainbow was intentional. The tiny toilets in the bathroom. So there's 4 bathrooms that have both regular size amenities, tiny toilets for training, as well as full size changing tables, because we all know that sometimes adult children will need extra support. So the idea that we have this space that is completely designed to support families of multi-generation as well as multiple abilities is really, really special. And I'm so excited to say that over 10,000 people have come to this park already this year. So the park is open every day that we don't have an event from 10 to 7. So really 10 a.m. to dusk. And we're finding it's used. I mean, I think there were almost 1,000 people that came on that beautiful, it was Saturday. Well, Saturday and Sunday were beautiful. But we continue to see incredible use. It's available to the public. There's free parking right outside the midgate. And I really just encourage you, if you have any children in your life, it is the coolest, and you will be absolutely cool for bringing them there. Does anyone know that's been there the one thing that we missed? There's no sound. We need to bring in, we didn't put music in the, kids make their own music, I'll say that. So we didn't miss it, but kids make their own music there. Some of the instruments do make noise, but I would love to have a soundtrack playing at all times when everyone walks in. So that's the extent of my comments. I think I'm really just grateful. Again, the warmth here is really exceptional. And I hope that you learned something that you didn't already know about the Festival Park, as well as feel inspired to use your tickets this year. So with that, I will entertain any questions.
Thank you, Sarah. If you have a question for Sarah, you may use this microphone here.
Of course, I have to have a question. Thank you for your remarks. I happen to live on St. Paul Avenue, and so witness the gridlock that's created by a lot of the shows. And I know that gridlock is from the north to south, not from the east, I guess. But
I hope not. I hope there's not boats on St. Paul.
But it seems to have gotten more pronounced over the last couple of years, maybe due to the development of the parking lots adjacent to the festival grounds. But what are your plans to address parking, shuttle busing, remote parking sites, all of that stuff that would make you a better destination for the people stuck in traffic?
You bet. We put. Thank you for the question. There's not a day or a week that goes by that we don't talk about the neighborhood and how we live in that neighborhood. From our standpoint, what we did last year is really encourage as many fans as possible to park downtown and walk into the Third Ward. I think that as you mentioned, the continued development of the Third Ward, the parking is growing more scarce. And so the more we can use mass transit, hop on a bubbler bike, use the hop, park downtown and walk. I mean, Milwaukee has such an accessible grid that you're able to, and I think it's only going to get improved as we continue to see some of that development. So our goal, we spend a lot of time talking about alternative transportation and encourage our patrons to use it, so much so that we didn't actually highlight our own lots. We said, go north, go towards downtown and walk into the festival. We saw an increase in the north gate entries because of it. So we'll continue to work on it.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for coming. Those people that know me know that Summerfest is my favorite season of the year for sure.
I love that it's a season for you.
Yeah, it is a season. Now, I won't publicly comment about my preference for the 11 straight days of awesomeness, but that's okay. Question I have for you. Recently, there's been some news and some talk of development on the Summerfest grounds. Can you share any thoughts or insight into future potential development or things that are out there in the works?
Sure. So I think you're referring to the master use plan RFP that we recently put out. So for us, when you see a calendar that looks the way that let me cycle back. I can do that, right? That wasn't that hard. One click. So when you see the calendar that looks like this, and we continue to see interest in using the park, our goal is to how do we maximize the use of the facility? And so as we think about that, it really is about maximizing the use to the purpose of Henry Maier Festival Park and Milwaukee World Festival. So development, I mean, we've put $160 million into the grounds and development to that purpose. So that is what we'll continue to study. What we did is issued an RFP to 4 firms that we went out and are seeking additional ideas to do that, as well as how to continue to integrate into the neighborhood as we see continued development take place in the 3rd Ward. So more to come is really the answer I can give you, is that process is unfolding now. And thank you for thinking that Summerfest is the 5th season in your life. Happy to talk about your favorite bands.
As a WTMJ alum, I was pleased to see the right ear of Cal home as he did the interview in 1968.
Thank you. Yes.
Unknown is the fact that those of us that worked there, we were supposed to show our faces in the interviews, the right ear or the left ear. So I recognized Cal's right ear when he did the interview. My question is this: Rotary is considering a number of options for a special project. One of them is New State on State Street, near West Side Partners, that involves local talent, music, engineering, etc. You have a commendable record of public service and connecting with the community, especially underserved parts. Do you have any thoughts on the potential of the festivals overall in promoting job creation and job certification, whether it be technical or performing, etc.? So you get a Summerfest or a certificate that says, I worked Summerfest and I got this skill, maybe in cooperation with technical college or somebody else.
Yeah, I know that our people that run the HR group, as well as people that are really technical experts in their areas, that level of certification, I don't think is something that we formally do right now, but I would be happy to connect you to the right people. I think within the technical side of entertainment, there's certainly very specific experience that you can garner, and of course, with stagehands and other types of individual occupations. At the same time, there's also great value in the customer service side, the working of machinery. I mean, if you can drive a forklift, please come see me, right? So there's lots of technical, because when you're running a 75-acre parcel, there's a lot that goes on beyond just the music side of it. So yes, please, we'd love to talk about that. Hi, Antoine.
What's up, buddy? So you have this amazingly large space, and you talk about momentum. Have you thought about other intersections with art, i.e., partnering with Sculpture Milwaukee to bring sculptures to the space, or transforming the beige to murals?
I know you have a passion for murals. There is most certainly an opportunity, and one that we're going to pursue. Stay tuned for 2024. We have a project that we're going to announce in the weeks to come, but we're very excited about the opportunity. I think and also, how do we engage the lake? I mean, how do we continue to engage what the part of that parcel that is so naturally beautiful? And so I think that there's great opportunity, and I know that we'll continue to have that conversation.
Hi, I didn't hear any mention of the Sky Glider. It's still going, right?
You bet. The Sky Chalet. It's actually kind of fun to listen to people who don't know that it's called the Sky Glider and name it things. Yeah.
So I'm also thinking that maybe you should talk to Mayor Johnson, because that would be a great form of public transportation. We could have Sky Gliders up and down Wisconsin Avenue.
What do you do in the winter, though, right?
And close them.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much.